from the halls of government.
You were there. I was not there. Check the record. Wait now. You were there. I was not there.
To the voices of the people.
We are suffering. This suffering is too much. It's too much. Look at the students. There's no job. They're feeling too. There's no job for them.
We analyze the undercurrents, expose the intrigues, and break down the narratives that define our democracy.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
When politics unfolds, when decisions are made, we reveal the impact. Welcome to the Polity, your deep dive into the forces shaping governance, policies, and power. From the halls of government.
You were there. I was not there. Check the record. Wait now. You were there. I was not there.
To the voices of the people.
We are suffering. This suffering is too much. It's too much. Look at the students. There's no job. They're feeling too. There's no job for them.
We analyze the undercurrents, expose the intrigues, and break down the narratives that define our democracy. Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki delivering razor-sharp analysis, and Ibuka Franklin and Chisom on the question wheel, driving the conversation. We bring you the most compelling discussions on governance, policies, and power plays. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay ahead. The Polity, every weekdays at 9:15 a.m. Exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha.
Cheers yesterday when the vehicles presented to the police by the Anambra State Governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, were unveiled. A lot of persons applauded him for that move, which is clearly going to aid the police in the state in its dispensation of the one duty that they have, officially by the way, which is to secure lives and property in the state. I say officially because they haven't stopped standing on the road, in some parts, constituting nuisance, for the want of a better word. And of course, yesterday, Rivers State went back to its very original state, which is the dramatic state of Rivers. We saw what happened yesterday at the floor of the state's plenary, where they instituted or started the process of the impeachment of the state's governor, Siminalayi Fubara. It's been a point of national discourse. A lot of questions are being asked. A lot of sense is being made out of what is happening, out of the entire drama that has trailed the Fubara administration. And of course, that and many more we get to look at on today's edition of The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Good morning to you and welcome. I am Chisom Chinidi. Franklin Ebuka is here. Good morning, Frank.
Yes, good morning to everyone listening to us this very morning. And of course, to from what we say, the governor of Anambra State yesterday presented 30 Hilux vehicles to the Nigerian Police Force, basically the Anambra State Police Command, to aid their security. We know that there had been this very view that ever since the governor came on board, that he has not donated any vehicles to the police. I know that last time he donated it was 170, which was donated across board to all the security agencies who were involved in Operation Udala. But this time around, he said specifically these 30 vehicles are meant for the police force and they are for special purposes. So let's see how they are going to aid the police in doing their job. So I do not know whether these very vehicles, if they have any special gadgets attached to the vehicles, the likes of communication gadgets and other things that can help in doing their job. So I do not have the specifics, but all the same, for the police to have additional 30 vehicles for the operations is a plus, because I can't forget my experience when I was in the university. I think it was my final year when a robber broke into my apartment and made away with certain properties. And in fact, the guy, when he was arrested somewhere to Guaba, in Enugu State,
by vigilante, and I was contacted to come there and pick up my property, the ones he hadn't sold. In fact, the police that went with me to Ugwaba, I was the one who failed their vehicle. In fact, the day we were called, we couldn't go because there was no vehicle available. So the second day when the vehicle was available, I was the one who filled the vehicle. I was the one who provided food for the police for us to do that very job. So when we see this kind of donations being given to the police, of course, it's going to help them do their job. But we are hoping that they should be able to maximize it, and maybe can help them to stop going for some operations using some kind of recreative vehicles that makes mockery of the institution called police. And then you talk about what is happening in Rivers State a week. Maybe some persons will tell you that it was foretold or it was foreseen that it will happen. And it appears like Wike is playing his last card because the way things were going, it appeared as if he was losing grip of Rivers State. It appeared as if he was working against some governors within the APC structure, and he believed that impeachment could be the last thing they could strike so that the growing influence of Fubara could be diminished. And yesterday, the process started. In fact, the one that happened yesterday could be said to be the first and second step that we are done out of the 8 steps needed to have an impeachment process completed. So we're going to see how this thing develops, how it's going to go, because I understand that Fubara traveled out of the country. I think that should be about yesterday or thereabout. He traveled out of the country with some persons to go and see Mr. President. For a report available to me, he got wind that this process was going to begin against him, but the plan was that it was going to start by next week Monday. But these very lawmakers had to, do some short circuit. They had to bring it back to yesterday. So I don't know if he's been able to meet Mr. President to brief him what is happening. But in the coming days, we are going to get a better picture of the state of things. Then if the lawmakers are going to muster what is needed to get this very impeachment completed, only time is going to tell.
All right then. Dr. Tony Olisambeki is here as well. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's also a pleasure to be here. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Anambra. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Onitsha. Good morning, Indosmo. Wherever you are listening to us from, it's always a pleasure. We thank God Almighty for a day like this, and we say may all glory, honor, and adoration be unto His name. And this is Friday, and it's just one of the days that we look around and see beyond the optics, because that's what we do here. We see beyond the optics. We see things from the other side and try to relate it and see how symmetrical or asymmetrical, how correlative or possibly uncorrelative these issues could be, and try to point out some of the things that we believe that are important, that are salient, and also begin for answer. And we are here to do justice to some of these developments, and then we are back. I saw the developments in Anambra State yesterday, where the governor handed over 30 vehicles to police. But I keep saying, it is time for states to take ownership of policing and police institution. We must make it happen. I don't understand all these thing going on. The governor gives vehicles to the police. Police say that we have received, and they are still under the command of the federal authorities. You can't just go that way. No be more kid they work babu the shop. Even when we know that it is designed to help safeguard the state, but we know very well that command and control is important in dealing with any issue, situations to where by deployments, recruitment, some of these things are conducted, and where these things are happening outside the purview of the state. It is not what local policing is all about. Policing, I have always said, is local. And remember one thing, we saw the handing over about ASP, how many of them? 29 or thereabouts, who were actually commissioned into the officer cadet of the Nigerian police. They passed through the Police Academy Training College in Kano. They were deployed to Anambra State, but they're also from Anambra State. We saw the presentation yesterday by the CP Urutigi. But in all of this, we can do much more better. We need to rearrange, we need to restructure our policing architecture, policing arrangement, policing structure in Nigeria for effective policing, and to ensure that every space is actually governed We don't live on government spaces around. You're welcome.
All right, then we are starting the conversation by first going to tell you what the front pages of the papers say.
Okay, so let's get to see the papers and see what the headlines are saying this very morning, because like we had already highlighted, a lot happened in the system, and of course you expect that we should be able to bring you those headlines the way they are captured by various newspapers. And this very morning we have 4 of them. Vanguard is on board this day. We have Punch, and we also have Guardian. So we'll begin with the headlines we have on Vanguard newspaper. And the big story here says, impeachment, APC Rivers Assembly at war over Fubara deputy. The story is on page 5. It has plenty riders, which we're going to get to now one by one. APC PDP factions reject impeachment move. Drop impeachment threat against governor. INC, IYC urge assembly. PDP split as weakest camp backs Rivers Assembly. Lawmakers accuse governor deputy of misappropriation. Others vow not to receive 2026 budget from Fubara. Adjourned to January 15. ADC monitoring Rivers crisis. Yet to take position. Spokesman. Okay, you see the picture story there. Is the picture of the proceedings at the House of Assembly in Rivers State. Then above the nameplate, U.S. Senate rebukes Trump over Venezuela. The story is on page 30. 141 million Nigerians poor while politicians jostle for power. Obi, the story is on page 8. Governors who defect should lose seats. Moghalu, the story is on page 11. The Moghalu here being referenced is the George Moghalu who contested for Anambra gubernatorial election in the last governorship election in this very state. Then another headline says FG direct shipping firms, airlines to submit manifest via national single window. Check page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Then this one says Nigeria attracts $14 billion foreign investment in 9 months of 2025. Okay, somebody can say impressive. The story is on page 21. Oxford Dictionary adds Mami Market, Amala, other Nigerian words into glossary. The story is on page 9. I think we talked about this yesterday. And this one says bloodbath in Benue. Rival court gangs kill 8 in supremacy clash. The story is on page 7. And the last story, which is from the sports column, says FG disburses AFCON bonuses to Super Eagles. Finance Minister. The story is on page 31 of Vanguard newspaper.
And from the Vanguard newspaper, we are moving over to this day. The banner headline here is Rivers Assembly begins third impeachment proceedings against Fubara. The story has some riders. APC fights back, warns lawmakers. CD urges Tinubu to rein in Wike as INC IYC warn against escalation of hostilities. Horiwa rejects impeachment plot. It is not corrective measure. It is political misadventure, group alleges on page 9. Mark, ADC reviewing its constitution for inclusiveness, accountability and fairness on page 9. On page 8, Lagos Assembly passes Sanwo-Olu's 4.4 trillion naira 2026 budget. Tinubu hails corporate Nigeria, other stakeholders over NGX 100 trillion naira milestone in capital market on page 9. NUPRC, NMDPR, ADP in partnership set to resolve regulatory overlaps. Other issues on page 5. And the rest are advertorials. Okay.
So for the headlines on this day newspaper, let's look at the headlines we have on Punch. So on Punch newspaper, the big story says Rivers in turmoil. APC leaders intervene as Fubara faces fresh impeachment threat. The story is on page 2. It has a rider. Assembly accuses governor of constitutional breaches. Issue 7-day ultimatum. Rivers APC faction others back Fubara. Beside the nameplate, insurgency. FG US company planned delivery of 12 attack helicopters. Check page 7. APC ramps up membership e-registration. The story is on page 7. And I think in Enugu State, the governor is targeting that they should be able to register 2 million APC members during this their e-registration. I think we talked about this non-officially, where I spoke about a report coming in from somewhere in Lagos, somewhere in Ikorodu, where people were being paid a huge amount of money for them to register as APC members. FG earmarks 1.7 trillion naira in 2026 budget for unpaid contractors. Check page 20. Dangote Refinery marketers fuel deal. Okay. Dangote Refinery marketers fuel deal crashes. The story is on page 19. And Lagos Assembly passes 4.4 trillion naira 2026 budget. The story is on page 27. On page 4, Ogun teenage boy dies during swimming. And the last story on the front page of Punch newspaper says 2027 SAN leads ADC 21-man Constitutional Review Committee. The story is on page 19.
All right, then let's proceed to the next paper on our desk, which is The Guardian. The banner headline here is still on Fubara. It says Fubara may meet Tinubu as Rivers row escalates with Assembly probe on page 6. BVN enrollment hits 67.8 million, 325 million bank accounts active on page 17. Golden Hour rule, how gaps in Nigeria's emergency response compound fatalities. That's according to a new analysis on pages 4 and 5. Tax laws, experts warn of disputes, capital flight despite government assurances on page 6. NCAA threatens stiffer sanctions over flight delays, cancellations on page 27. I think this is coming from the call out that was made over the weekend. No, today is Friday, so it was made within the week by a Nigerian movie actor and director, producer, whose flight was delayed. I mean, this is just one of the issues because it's like part of the Nigerian was aviation system. Okay. The flight has been cancelled or the flight has been postponed. It should be added to the dictionary. Yeah,
Ogumola, right?
Yes.
You know, when you mentioned that somehow my face got lit because yesterday I had to watch a video she made trying to talk about her difficulty moving from Ekiti State to Lagos State, and I went to the comment section. My God, you know, I said, Nigerians, I don't know how to describe of the, you know, how people made fun of the entire thing.
Situation.
And somebody was asking her, oh, you are in Ekiti, going to Lagos, go and charter jeep and go to Lagos. Like, it's funny comment, but it's not quite fun because imagine that you have planned for yourself on where to be at a particular time, and then an airline makes you to spend an additional 24 hours where you are going to incur some losses
and cost as well.
And cost, in as much as the issue of safety comes into play. Sometimes they could say, oh, the weather it's not clear for you to fly and what have you not. But in all the cases, it has not just been issue of weather. Sometimes it's issue about logistics, the flight not being available or not having enough passenger for them to fly. So these are the issues that I think the NCA needs to look into, so that most people don't suffer necessarily. Last time, a friend of mine was due to fly in the morning, and guess what? By 4 p.m. she was at the airport, and she was lamenting how that was meant to be. And the agony of the whole thing is that even the way the airline operators manage this whole thing, because sometimes they will live in limbo. They won't even communicate why you are being kept for that long time. You keep on asking yourself, flight.
It's really sad. Okay, now, Tinubu rallies investors to NGX after 100 trillion naira milestone on page 7. FG to review tariffs for industrial growth, lower production costs on page 17. And UN climate fight suffers as US exits 66 international bodies treaties on page 3. FG raises 1.1 trillion naira from first 2026 Treasury bills auction on page 3. Politicians scrambling for power while Nigerians fall into poverty. Obi laments on page 2. About 2 days ago, that report emerged. 141 million Nigerians expected to live in poverty. And when we talk about poverty, as I checked, it is living below the $1 per day benchmark. That is to say that to feed themselves and their families, they have less than 1,400 to feed, and that is really, really sad. And unfortunately, it used to be at a 130 million, but here we are presently. Projection is 141 million, and so instead of getting better, especially since the present administration promised us better, we are getting worse. And it's a lot of deep thinking for the average Nigerian, especially as 2027 is just by the corner, and of course for the persons who are at the helm of affairs today. Is this what they promised? Then we go into the conversation proper, and of course we already mentioned the state of security in Anambra and how the state's governor has tried to boost things with that presentation of 30 vehicles. And we're now going over to Rivers State, where we understand that yesterday impeachment moves started for the governor, Simnalai Fubara, who is, by the way, out of the country. And I'm going to go ahead and play some of the audios, starting with the letter that was read on the floor of the House. You listen, hear it for yourselves. And of course, I'm also going to play the audio that contains the reaction of Rivers State Speaker, the Rivers State House of Assembly. And from there, the conversation is going to proceed. Do take a listen. Of course, and that's it from that end. I am also going to go ahead and play an audio of the statement credited to the Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly. He said really crazy things about the governor, by the way. Okay, so that's the Speaker, Martin Amewule, saying that enough is enough. But before we proceed, there's another audio of Martin Amewule. Would I say insulting the governor? You just have to make the judgment for yourself after listening to him this time around. Okay, I think there's a little bit of a mix-up here. I think I mixed the videos up. So let's just continue with the conversation from here. I think I already lost the audio. So, Tony, we saw what happened yesterday, and it's not going to be the first time. This is the third time since he became governor on the 23rd of March 2023. And in a space of 3 years or less, because it's still going to be 3 years by March this year, on the 29th of March this year. So in less than 3 years, there's been 3 attempts, this being the third, to impeach Siminalayi Fubara. And a lot of questions have come up as to why this keeps happening, especially after he has now moved from the PDP to the APC. I mean, looking at the political trajectory of Nigeria, it's almost unheard of that people within the same political party work towards the impeachment of a stakeholder, a governor, who also is on the platform of that same party. So let's start with looking at the emerging crisis. Were you expecting this, especially since Siminalayi already crossed capital, and it was expected that was, the move towards peace for River State and peace for him as the governor of that state?
We saw the whole thing yesterday. It was a drama, as usual. So what do you expect? You expect this drama, and then we would also see more things. I think what happened yesterday could be Act 1, Scene 2, because we have seen Act 1, Scene 1, where they had been them callings at different political rallies. We saw River State governor having his own rallies, and we also saw the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, with his own rallies, though he dubbed his own thank you rally as against what we believe the rally was for. And then he shows those rallies to show capacity to tell Mr. President that he has followership. So they are just testing the microphone. That's exactly what is going on in River State. So, but where do you begin? These things are political. There is no meat in all of this. Forget the rantings coming from different angles, from different quarters. One thing is sure. Wike has drawn the battle line. And he doesn't want the governor to go for second term. And he believes if the governor goes for the second term, his political career will be seriously impaired. So, you understand the fight. And he has got foot soldiers. The assembly members are the Wike's foot soldiers. They are lame dogs. And you look at the speaker saying that, what are we even doing here? They have been calling us toothless bulldogs. We just sit down here. Nothing. It's better for us to resign than to continue to be here. That was exactly the position of the speaker. But I really pity those who are looking at this from different angles. Fubara has changed his strategy. Remember, in the last episode, he lost completely. Many people called him Madam Fubara. Many got disappointed in a way that he never earned, or in a way that they wouldn't have given him support in the first instance. But it is about 2027. This time around, remember, before now, the other episode had the support from Mr. President and re-election of Fubara. So Mr. President sided Wike to fight Fubara. Yes, he sided him because he felt that he will lose River State votes if Fubara is giving those wings to fly. But now, Fubara made a tactical substitution. That's what we call in football. A masterclass defection. And Mrs. Fubara defected to APC. Wike has found no peace. He hasn't got any peace. He has known no peace. And recall when Fubara got registered by Tony Okocha, Wike's ally, because Tony Okocha later came out and said he regretted issuing the membership card to Fubara. He was the one that issued the membership card to Fubara, and that membership card had on it 001. And Fubara displayed it and said he is the 001. Remember, we came here and said, in fact, he's not even up to 005. So it may be 001 on paper, but in the real sense of it, he may not be up to 004 or up to 005. But he claimed that he's 001 as far as that leadership of APC leadership in that state is concerned. And if you look at APC governors, APC, NWC, and even those who are stakeholders in APC. And they have said a governor is the leader of the party in his home state. It will not change automatically. He has always been like that. Since 1999, a governor has always been and would always be the leader of the party, his party in his home state. There were times things like this did not happen, and we saw those governors leaving the party. And it happened when maybe the governor was directly fighting the president, or maybe the president does not want the governor to go for second term. We saw it during the time of Chiwokim Baduju, when Obasanjo never wanted him to go for second term. What did he do? Chiwokim Baduju, the then governor of Anambra State, defected to AD because the party structure, the party leadership was taken away from him. So he ceased to be the leader of the party in Anambra State, and that was why he defected to AD and then ran for the election, and then he couldn't succeed. And we saw how the renegades, according to Chinua Achebe, enthroned Chris Ngige. But that's by the way. It's a different story for another day. Now, coming back to Rivers State now. We have 36 states in the federation. All the governors, even those who are not in APC, those who are in any governor in any political party is the leader of the party in his home state. And some of the governors have asked, why would Rivers State be different? Why? Because you produce them as governors. All the governors who are currently serving now were produced by somebody. Tell me one governor who was not produced by anybody. The current 36 state governors we have in Nigeria, they were all produced by someone, either by the predecessor or by stakeholders who came together to ensure that they disrupt the status quo. In the case of Chei Makinde. So there is no governor that comes to power on his just personal influence or just his money. But in fact, if you look at it, out of the 36 state governors, almost all of them, almost, not just all of them, almost close to, were all sponsored by their predecessors. So the point I'm trying to make is, Fubara, I saw the post Leronye Olayinka posted yesterday where Fubara was calling Yesun Wike my mentor, in fact, for believing in me, for trusting in me, for nurturing me politically, for, he was expressing thanks for believing in him to be the governor. But he did not also expect you to come and be running or doing the work of governor. Yes, express thanks for the work you've done to make him the governor. You made him. Nobody's denying the fact that Wike did not make Fubara governor. Wike made him governor single-handedly using River State funds. But time has come that you have to leave him to do the work you have created him using River State funds to do. So you don't want to hands off. So going by what happened yesterday, I have to be honest with you. It was a shame. That very speaker, he has been in the House since 2011. He was first elected into River State House of Assembly in 2011. He was there 2015. He was there from 20 to 2019. He has been there for a very long time. But it's very disappointing that amongst all the speakers we have had in River State, in fact, if you go by the first speaker we had, even Roseberry Romson Briggs, that was in 1979. We have not seen a speaker falling so low as Martin Amehule. If you go from those Stanford, Ongolo, even Tuesday, Kameboya, if you go down the memory lane, you can understand that this is the speakers we have him today. It's not just a stooge. We have not seen a speaker being a political stooge from every angle. From angle 30, 60, 90, 180, every angle stooge. That there's nothing you are there to do other than to act the script given to you by Wike. That's why you bought him vehicle with your colleagues and then say thank you, masters. So okay. It is what it is. Okay, so
let's go further on this very interrogation, because yesterday, anybody who watched the video of Amemule would see a man talking from the point of anguish. There was anger in his voice and his expression.
And very disrespectful.
And then at the end of the day, majority leader was the person who read the notice and they itemized the sins of Fubara, which I'm going to list, because I also want us to put all these things into context. If you look at the allegations that have been classified as gross misconduct against Fubara, now there are 8 of them. One is reckless and the unconstitutional expenditure of public funds. Second one is unconstitutional misappropriation of public funds. Third one, hindering the River State Assembly from performing its constitutional functions. The fourth one is illegal appointment of persons without allowing for screening by the House of Assembly as provided by the Constitution. The fifth one, seizure of salaries and funds meant for Assembly members. Sixth one, seizure of salaries of the clerk of the River State House of Assembly, Emeka Amadi. And then seventh one, refusal to implement provisions of the Constitution on financial autonomy of the legislature and judiciary. And then he talked about withholding funds meant for the running of River State House of Assembly Service Commission and hindering its activities. They also mentioned that he refused to present the budget. So, Tony, looking at the framers of the Constitution, what they've staged by saying that a governor can be impeached on account of gross misconduct, looking at what have been listed, these things, do they amount to gross misconduct as propounded by the Constitution of Nigeria?
If you look at some of the things they listed, those things are baseless. They don't have any basis. Most times, I don't know if they really reason before they talk, or they are out of their desperation just in a bid to score political points, do what they are doing. For me, these they are conspiratorial and then ulteriorly motivated approach. It's not going anywhere. Let's begin with the first one. They said, what do you call it?
This is reckless and the unconstitutional expenditure of public funds.
When you say that governor is spending reckless and unconstitutional expenditure, you have to detail it. You have to tell us what the governor spent that was unconstitutional and what did the governor spend that was reckless. You don't just bandy generic words. You must be detailed. They did not even detail anything. They did not even say that governor spent such amount of money to purchase social vehicles that was not in anywhere under any appropriation. They did not mention anything. You can't just say reckless expenditure. What were those expenditures? You did not even mention one. Not even one. At least use one as an example.
One as an example, they mentioned the Christmas whatever that was sent to them that they rejected, and according to the reports that I cited, the person who spoke said they rejected it because what is the legal backing upon which they are being given those monies? From whose pocket? From taxpayers' money? They don't want to go to jail. I didn't get the audio, but you know what I'm talking about.
They are very, very unreasonable. How can you, as a lawmaker, governor gave you 100,000 naira and you call that reckless spending? Governor gave you, even when I know very well that some people, some successful, not even successful, average businessmen do give their workers 100,000. There were those that even gave their workers 200,000, 300,000 this Christmas. Did the governor tell you that it was from River State pocket? Did he tell you? The governor did not even tell you that the money was coming from in River State pocket. He did Christmas for you people because you people have become beggars. You people have become hungry legislators, and they decided to give you. Wike has been giving that to you, so it is. See, the governor.
So everybody who was giving something for Christmas is a beggar and hungry.
No. Let me say this: the governor looked down on them by giving them 100,000.
Was it 100,000?
That's what they said. They reported that the governor sent 100,000 to them, and the worst is he could have done that through his pocket. Did the governor tell you that the money came from River State funds?
But is it not insulting to give them 100,000?
Because they're hungry. Are they not? They are hungry.
And you want to pay the legislator with 100,000?
Let me say this. Because are they a chogumma? And the governor, in his right sense, did not even, if he had given them 1 million, maybe there were 26. Somebody would have asked, where could the governor have got the 26 million to give to these people? Could he, if you check his salary, is the governor's salary plus his allowance plus everything, if you put them together, you ask, he may have dipped his hand into River State Treasury to cover 26 million. Governor did not give them 26 million. Governor gave them 2.6 million. Governor can afford 2.6 million. It's not even up to some of his allowances. Governor can use his personal money to give you 100,000, 26 of you, 2.6 million. That's what it is. So I don't know. These people, the man they are dealing with, Fubara. I'm not just trying to praise him, but I know most times, as Ebudena or Megane or Biog, that's what he did. Let me say this. It's quite unfortunate that they have been looking for trappings in a way to track him down. But if anybody can give anybody Christmas money, I know why they rejected it, because it was too small. But if you had, many of them wouldn't have, call the second one, because this one makes no sense.
Okay. Before I go to the second one, because I know there was a time Rivers State government tried to explain the 100,000 are given to the House members, and Rivers State government said it wasn't just to the House members alone. It was given to civil servants because it's been the annual ritual of the government in the past 2 to 3 years. The government has been doing that every Christmas. So for them to have turned down their own, that it was just like out of the politics being happening in that very state. Now, when I get to the second,
let me also make
issue.
one point before you go to the second issue. Remember, the governor has security vote to spend from. The governor has security vote under Appropriation Act, and that security vote for him could be used for anything that will prevent breakdown of law and order. And when people are hungry, they could go rioting. And I'm not just trying to support anything, but I know many governors in Nigeria, 36 state governors, they did extend money to civil servants.
Okay,
they did. So River State did their own. It became problem even when the governor has security vote.
So you think they are simply just exploiting this?
Exploiting what?
I mean, the money that was given to them by making noise out of it.
That's just that. It's just a tradition. It's a culture. It's a ritual. And most governors, they do it from their security votes.
Okay, now the second issue is similar to the first one, because the second one simply says unconstitutional misappropriation of public funds. But I want us to get back to the first one and combine with the second one, because while the speaker was talking yesterday, he talked about how the governor has refused to present budget. So if he was making reference to 2026 budget, it wasn't explicit. If he was making reference to 2025, it wasn't explicit. But later, when he was not trying to extrapolate that, in Nigeria, it appeared like Rivers is the only state where the governor has not presented budget for 2026.
Right.
But whatever is the case now, let's interrogate that. If one of the issues against Fabra is the fact that he refused or he has not presented budget before the River State House Assembly, be it 2025 or 2026. So let's see how it amounts to gross misconduct. How it violates the constitution, because according to law, before a governor, any money that a governor is going to spend supposed to pass through the House for proper appropriation. Now, in River State, does River State have a running budget that governor can spend from, and people can say yes, he's been acting within the ambits of the law?
You have answered the question, so there's no need wasting much more time. And of course, we are all aware that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu transmitted the River State budget in May 2025, and the Senate approved it on June 2025, and it followed by the House of Representatives on July 22, 2025, and the total appropriation was about 1.485 trillion naira, 1,485 billion, and then it was intended to run through August 2026. The budget passed by the National Assembly when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared state of emergency in River State. The assembly members, these hungry assembly members, they clap for president. In fact, they wrote advertorial commending the president for declaration of state of emergency. Through that emergency rule, Mr. President transmitted budget for River State to the National Assembly, who had later approved the emergency rule. So emergency rule declared 18th of March, National Assembly approved it 20th of March, and they became the lawmaking body for River State, and they were the one that signed passed the budget for River State, and that budget will run through August. That is where which budget again are they talking about? I said these people, they are not even with their eyes.
So the angle of the 2025 has been taken care of. Or whether if they were making reference to the fact that when they went to Mr. President for negotiations on how to resolve the issue, if one of the conditions was that he was going to represent the budget and then renominate some commission, I think it was one of it, do renomination of some commissioners. So let's assume that the issue of 2025 has been taken care of. Now, coming to 2026, we know that this December happened to be an era for many state governments to present budget. Many of them had presented, and I think a few of them have not presented. So, in the case of Rivers State, that he hasn't presented any budget for next year, is it in any way in breach of the oath that the governor swore to protect?
How can you present a budget when the one currently running has just begun? Their budget calendar has been changed. They should be talking about budget by the time they did not see anything from August. How can you present, because budget is a law, appropriation? So are they going? Is the governor presenting this another budget to scrap the one that is running? They have to come first and say the one passed by National Assembly, we don't want it.
What would it take them to do that?
Because for now no court has invalidated the one passed by National Assembly. It is appropriation law for River State. It's still running. How do you expect another budget on top of a running budget? And a budget that, just like I said, that was assented by Mr. President sometime around July.
Let me get something straight, Tony. While we understand that a budget was assented to sometime around July and ideally should run for 1 year, but in the fiscal calendar of states and the country generally, states have been presenting their budgets. As a matter of fact, Lagos State just had their 4.4 trillion approved. And so I am curious to find out, is it wrong if Fubara is expected to present a budget officially for 2026, regardless of what is running?
It is wrong. You know why? Budget has a cycle.
Okay.
In United States of America, remember I did say the other day,
yes, you mentioned
their cycle is different from Nigeria. And remember, we have off-cycle elections. Your cycle, it may be different from somebody's cycles. Women, they have cycles. So the issue is, please stick to your cycle.
Okay.
They don't even do these things with their clear eyes. Some of these members,
Speaking about clear eyes,
they don't do it. So that's why they are trying to hold on to anything imaginary thing.
So let's look at the political angle.
These things are imaginary.
Yeah, they are saying this entire thing, especially since the APC leadership in the state reacted to all of this development. He said this is a political issue, and as much as some persons would want to look at it as a constitutional issue, as a legal one, it's a political issue. I mean, it's coming out of political ego play, power play, and all of that. Do you see the Rivers State House of Assembly following this move to impeach Fubara through? Or do you think Mr. President is going to call them and they're all going to see Kumbaya and everybody goes back to status quo?
They want something. And remember,
he's already in APC.
No.
What else do they want from him?
What they want from these people who are doing this are not doing it for themselves. Who is doing this is Wike.
So what does he want again?
Wike wants him to say he will not run for 2027. That's all Wike wants. And see, you can force a horse to the river, but you cannot force him to drink any water. This man, for whatever agreement, Wike said there was an agreement, and you agreed before Mr. President that you will not run for 2027, that you are going to go for first term, and there will be no impeachment against you that will allow you to finish your term and go in peace. No impeachment and other things that are agreed upon. Now, you have violated one of the cardinal promises, agreements, and he has been shouting agreement is agreement, which is you won't run. And for clarity's sake, Fubara has not even declared his intention to run. That is one. Secondly, Fubara has not even bought nomination form. That is two. But somebody is boiling. Now, if
it's expecting a commitment to be extracted,
I don't know. The thing is, if you say that there was an agreement that Fubara will not run for second term, will not go, the man has not run for any time. He has not bought nomination form. He has not even declared his intention. But the way the governors have been rallying around this Fubara.
But entering APC indicates something too.
Of course. And then it was part of the agreement that he was going to defect to APC. It was
Why would he defect to APC if he's not going there to gain something?
No, it was the agreement. And for him, he re-strategized to fight war. And now, he has privately met some of the governors who are close to Mr. President. And Wike believes that Mr. President may change his mind by allowing this man to run for second term. So it is better for us to get him impeached earlier on. Okay, so even when he has not, Fubara has not even violated the agreement they put in place. But the fear that this man will run is what is causing this tear.
Okay, so let me see how far this can go, because as it stands now, APC in River State, led by one Beke, they've said they are rejecting the move being made by the State House because Agwadi Liagibia, let's put it that very way. And we're also seeing some stakeholders of the APC who are trying to call for caution on the side of Yosen Wiki, in as much as the lawmakers are trying to prove that they are the ones engineering the whole thing. But now those who understand politics know that if now where I want to see is the chances of this very impeachment process succeeding. We know that impeachment process, there is a process that must be followed judiciously for it to be effected, and there are 8 steps. These steps are captured in section 188 of the 1999 Constitution, and as it stands now, I think 2 of the steps have been met by the lawmaker. The very first one requires that at least 1/3 of the lawmakers must sign an impeachment notice, which they did, and the 26 of them signed it. So they met the threshold, more than 1/3. Then second step of the speaker giving a notice to the governor within 7 days. That happened yesterday.
But he wasn't around to receive it.
So it happened yesterday. So if they got any acknowledgement copy, I do not know. But all I know is that they shared it on social media that they were able to send the notices to the governor and the deputy. Of course, the one they sent to the governor, they address him as madam. That's the by the way. So and also in that second step,
is that a typo or you sniff something?
I do not know. I do not know. Then also in the second step, the speaker is also supposed to notify the lawmakers that they have that the governor and the deputy have been served. Before you now talk about the third step, which is where the governor now has the right either to reply or not to reply. Then from there, you now go to the first step of within 14 days, when the governor must have either replied or not. They get to do notice again, then get to the point of setting up panels and what have you. 18 steps that need to be followed dutifully, so that if anybody decides to go to court, it cannot be invalidated. So as it stands now, what we are sure of is that the numbers needed to impeach Fubara is there in terms of numbers in the House, because Wike and Amewule, they have 26 members. And the other 5 members are on the other side. I don't even know if they have returned to the House. So, since they have the numbers, and there are other steps that need to be fulfilled, if the Wike side has been able to make an inroad into the state chief judge, I cannot say for now. But what are the chances that this very impeachment can succeed, knowing that there are 9 different interests in River State, Tony?
You've just read out the processes and the procedures involved in impeachment of a governor, and we'll see where this will take us to. You say they have got the numbers, and they should not forget that their legitimacy is also something that can be challenged. There is a suit that's still on at the Federal High Court challenging, even when the Supreme Court recognized Amehule as the speaker, it did not in any way foreclose the litigation. That was why some people faulted Supreme Court in making recognition to Martin Amehule as the speaker, that there is litigation ongoing challenging his legitimacy based on the defections. So, but it does not in any way invalidate that litigation. So they should also be reminded that Fubara can as well begin or give life or even animate the legal battle, challenging their defections.
Aside from that, I learned somewhere that people who are sympathetic to Fubara, people who are in the APC, they are beginning to investigate membership of these lawmakers in the APC. They're trying to claim that they have not been able to verify if they have membership card or not.
Apart from that, remember they denied that they were never members of APC. Remember when the matter came in court, they all denied. They said they did not defect, that they are still members of PDP. That even when they were shown affidavits, they deposed in court that they had defected. But they said no, it was handiwork of fifth columnist. But now, that was when there was war. Now they thought they had got the peace. So they can be reminded. Remember, for you to, well, they may say that we left PDP because PDP is in crisis, but they have a point. Anybody who leaves PDP, who defects from PDP now has a point, because they have leadership crisis, and that is the ground upon which the constitution say that you can defect. Yes, wherever there is crisis, leadership crisis at the national level of the party. So they have every valid reason.
Yes,
so
because 16 of them, I think that was on December 5th, they announced their defection to APC from PDP.
And they also did say that because of the leadership crisis.
Yes.
So, but it can also be texted in court, because it is part of the battle. Why we are texting that? Do you know if Fubara decides to challenge that and all of that, he can also decide to work with. The only way they can stop this man, you said you want commissioners. The man decided to be working with permanent secretaries and then special advisors. You don't need to confirm special advisors. The only people River State House of Assembly can confirm commissioner nominees and heads of agencies. But what this man has decided to do, because if you check one of these, look at what they said there.
One of the things they said he did.
He did what? They did not call commissioner. They said unconfirmed person. That's the way they put it. I don't know if you get that. They did not even say you've been working with commissioners that have not been what? Confirmed. A governor is at liberty to appoint special advisor. He does not need to send a special advisor so appointed to the State House of Assembly for confirmation. Nah. What Fubara did was to appoint. The other day he sworn in about 8 special advisors. 8. The last I checked.
Why do you think he did that?
Because he know that if he brings in commissioners, they will not approve it. They are trying to hold him at the jugular.
Okay,
so he is aware that if he presents this budget, these people will now use it as a ground to fight him back. If he presents commissioners, they will, in fact, they will not approve it.
But Tony, to think about it, is it not against the principles of the constitution that the governor will run a government without appointing commissioners?
Remember, the governor is at liberty. The constitution did not even say if you did not appoint, you cannot run a government. The constitution gives the governor that liberty to appoint commissioners. At least in so appointing, he must make sure that these commissioners come from every of the local governments.
That is very clear. However, he's at liberty too. These commissioners are supposed to oversee certain commissions in the state. And so I am curious to find out, these commissions are existent in River State. Who has been overseeing them? Where in the constitution is it allowed that these PAs and SAs oversee commissions? Again, I am curious to find out. The governance of River State is being affected by all of this drama. I am asking you, who is governing River State? And these representatives are supposed to be making laws that would, represent the interests of different quarters in Rivers where they represent. How have they been able to do that with all the back and forth, the drama, the war with the state governor? It looks like the past 3 years have been spent in a war with the state governor. Who is representing the people?
I think the people, whenever this war or political battle, the people do suffer. And I must also remind everyone that Buhari run Nigeria for 6 good months without ministers. Ministers are like commissioners at the subnational level. But remember, Buhari ran the country without ministers for 6 good months. We're not saying it was good, but he had his reasons. And you asked very salient question. If you look at section 192, subsection 1, section 192, subsection 1 provides that there shall be such offices of commissioners of the government of a state as may be established by law. And then if you look at that section 192, subsection 2, it further states that any appointment to the office of commissioner of the government of a state shall be made by the governor of the state and shall be subject to the confirmation by the House of Assembly of that very state. So if you look at section 196, subsection 1 of the Constitution, it provides that the governor of a state may appoint any person as a special advisor to assist him in the performance of his functions. Then if you go by provisions of section 196, subsection 2 again, it adds that the number of such special advisors and their remuneration shall be as prescribed by the law of the House of Assembly of the state. So, in contextually, just like I said earlier on, the governor has right to appoint special advisors, special assistants, without sending them to the House for confirmation, as very well explicit under section 196, subsection 1, subsection 2 of the Constitution. Then it is only if you go by section 192, subsection 2, it talks about the commissioner and which the governor must present to the State House of Assembly for confirmation. So, and the Constitution provides for that and said, there shall be such offices of commissioners of the government of a state as may be established by the law. There shall be such offices. And section 192 subsection 2 also add further, any appointment to that office of the commission of the state must be made by the governor subject to the and the Constitution did not also say what becomes of governor if he fails to appoint commissioners. Yes, most commissioners, they are heads of political heads of ministries. Let's explain this very well. Commissioners are the political heads of ministries. Then the permanent secretaries, they are on the other side, the civil service heads of the ministries. They work under the commissioner. That is the permanent secretaries. They are also heads in their own rights. They are heads of ministries as far as the civil service rule is concerned. But commissioners are the political head. The permanent sex works under them. So in all of this, Constitution provides for offices of commissioners. But the Constitution did not also say what happens if those offices are not filled. It did not say that if governor fails to appoint commissioner, so thing shall happen to the governor. But it is legitimate for the State Assembly to demand from the governor, appoint commissioners. Because the Constitution has made such provisions. Appoint them. And they have to demand it from them. And they can also threaten him that if you fail to appoint commissioners, we have to impeach you for not filling those positions. But if you look at these assembly members, I've said they are jokers. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know the law. They cite the law upside down. They have not even demanded from the governor to appoint commissioners. What they are saying that you appointed some persons unconfirmed by us. He hasn't appointed any commissioner that is not confirmed by you. What he did was to appoint special advisors. All you need to do is to demand from him to appoint commissioners. Not in your impeachment, whatever you call it, stating that he appointed some persons unconfirmed. Who are those persons? Because why he didn't call them commissioners? Because he did not appoint commissioners. You said persons. The Constitution said that you have to confirm special advisor. I said earlier on, they don't even know their left and right.
Okay, so certainly, because in this issue of appointment of commissioner, which maybe it could be one of the bases why these lawmakers are kicking. What the law says is that a governor should appoint commissioners, and in making the appointment or in composing the government of the state, it should be able to reflect the diversities of that very state. If you are going to make reference to section 14.4 of the 1999 Constitution, and as it stands now, I think Fubara is working with about 8 commissioners. In fact, it was last week that he reassigned Christopher Green from the Ministry of Sports to become the Attorney General of that very state. Maybe he deemed it fit that that very position is needed for certain legal operations of that very state. Now, where I want to go to now, because I just want to point this one out before I now get to the question. Fubara has been on saddle for, let's say, 2 years plus now. He was out of government for 6 months due to emergency rule. And some persons are beginning to question his political sagacity. They're saying for like 2 years you've been on that very seat, and you have not been able to win one out of your adversaries to your side, so that when issues like this come up, you'll be able to have a buffer. Because those 26 members of the House who have been on the side of Wike, none of them has been able to cross over to the side of Fubara. So for you, do you think it's a political failure on the side of Fubara that he has not been able to win one out of those his adversarials?
If Fubara tries to win any of these people, one, because you know why I say that these legislators, 26 of them, they are hungry legislators. You know why? Because whatever they are doing, it is politically motivated. They are not doing it with their two eyes open. They are not doing it based on personal conviction. No. They are doing it based on inducement. And anybody who does anything based on inducement, you want me to take that person serious?
So who answers for the time wasted with all of these things they are doing?
I don't know, because the people will answer for the time wasted. See, let me say this, because Franklin raised that very important point. These people we are taking to vacation. In fact, Wike paid for their vacation. They junketed around the world. I spotted them somewhere in Germany, France,
All
Netherlands. 26 of them. Yes. They were, in fact, doing Jangolova in some places, as we call it in local parlance. They even posted the videos of where they were doing Jangolova. Outside the country. Look at the people we are talking about. Look at the people you want me to take serious. So they did all those things. They spent 2 weeks in luxurious hotels outside the country. Did they also ask themselves this question? The money they use in such expensive trip in foreign currency, where did the money come from? Paid by Wike, sanctioned by Wike, and some of them went with their families. Some of them. These are the people you want Fubara to convert. They have been given plots of land, allegedly. They are all landowners in Abuja FCT, allegedly. Because I have seen some reports, but that's why I said allegedly. And in this case, not just one, allegedly, not just two, allegedly, they have these properties, cozy properties, and many of them have not just land, they have permanent places. Now, let me ask you, what do you think Fubara, because anybody who is out to be induced, you must either match what the present person is giving him or exceed it, overpower that. So if Fubara should convert any of them, River State resources will suffer. He has to go extra mile, and if he does that, they may use it even against him.
Absolutely.
So he is very conscientious about these people. 26 of them, including women.
So how
let's not do the gender thing.
How do you see this thing? Tony, how do you see this thing happening?
Okay.
Is Fubara going to emerge victorious at the end of the day, or Wike is going to have his day? Don't forget that Wike prepared for this very ground. The time he went to one monarch in Rivers State and trying to recall his name, he went to his house and told him that you are a monarch, but by the time we begin to play our politics, when the game starts, please don't get involved.
I wish you played that very.
You can recall that. Then he also went to see Asari Dokubo, where Hamecha were there. He spoke to Dokubo, and people he was talking to. He was talking to people who have affiliation with the Jaws, where Fubara came from, perhaps preparing the ground. So how do you see this ending? Is it going to be a victory for Fubara, or is it going to be Fubara saying goodbye to his political career, and then Wike is going to have the last laugh?
The person who is going to win this battle is the person Mr. President decides will win it. So whatever that is playing out, the president is the ultimate decider of who wins. So that's to answer your question.
Okay.
Mr. President decides who wins. And
who
now,
do you think is more valuable to Mr. President at this
the
point?
president likes Wike so much, and he knows what Wike did for him to become president, and he's not this type that do not reward
Loyalty.
That is one. Then secondly, the president has governors who are close to him, who are dear to him, who also played important role in his re-election, and these governors are telling him allow Fubara run for second term. So the president is actually in a position that is so difficult. Should I lose or should die in any way, because he knows how to compensate.
Who is of more benefit to him, especially as 2027 is what's most important to him right now?
Now, the governors are telling him that which you think Wike will do, Fubara will do it for you. So why don't you allow Fubara? Where you would think of Wike is where he's the only man that can do that thing that nobody can do. Says Fubara can do that. And that will bring peace in our party, because they want peace marching into 2027. They
need it actually.
The president may risk dividing the party, because he goes on to ensure that Fubara does not run. There will be some disaffection within the party. The party will have a crack going into 2026 in a way to placate one man. He may look at the whole thing and say, you know what, we can allow Fubara, I will compensate you with other things.
Okay.
Allow Fubara to run for second term, then you will be the one that will decide who will go for the 3 Senate, for the Federal House of Representatives, and then also other federal appointments. You have federal appointments all by yourself. Well, let's divide it. If I were the president, because for me these things are very wrong, but if the president wants to settle this politically, allow Wike all the political appointments and allow Fubara to run. Allowing Fubara to run will means the party will now have one united front going into 2027, and you have placated Wike by also assigning some other leadership roles to him. But that's what Mr. President needs to do. So now, if he allows Fubara to leave, there are some who will feel bad about it, that he has entrenched a non-APC member to decide for APC. Many people in the party will not take it, and it will show in their attitude towards the campaign. And Mr. President will not take anything that has to do with this issue of 2027 lightly. So from the look of things, he may listen to the governors, but find a way
to compensate Wike.
That may be what he may do.
Let's sign off on this conversation with that audio.
We'll soon start politics. I didn't say you should be involved. Don't be involved. Allow us to play our politics. Stay as a traditional ruler. I don't want anybody to say tomorrow, oh, you are putting your hand. Don't put hand. But that does not mean that you don't have anybody to support you hereby. But allow us to play our game. If you have any problem, you call us to settle. But I want to tell you that not be business as usual again. All of us have taken a decision on what to do. So that I believe those of them who are children will tell you the decision we have taken. Just for your ears, not for you to participate. You're my friend. So I don't want us, if I want not becoming sick because based on your stool, I don't want anybody to say, oh, I'm able. You've cancelled the recognition. That's why I don't want to come since. But since I've been here, you will not be happy that I left without coming to.
Why does this sound like a threat to me, though? Like a subtle threat to the man?
I don't know if he was actually talking to Asari Dokubo.
No, not Asari Dokubo, the traditional ruler.
This one is not Asari Dokubo.
You know why? He cannot talk to Asari Dokubo the way he talked to this man. This traditional ruler.
Did you sense the threat in his voice?
I sense disrespect. I sense
a warning. I came to warn you.
No, the person he spoke to here is a king Ateketon. That's the person he spoke to, this other person who happens to be the Amayanabo for Okotri Kingdom in Okreka government area.
That's what I'm saying.
State.
And if you look at this man, or the traditional ruler, he spoke this way. It is so disrespectful, so humiliating. I've come here to tell you that you have to stay away from our politics. You're just warning the traditional ruler. He can't talk to the Asari Dokubo this way. Asari will walk him away from that very place. But you know, there are people he will talk to the way he wants to talk to them, and possibly maybe
everybody should know their limits.
Possibly, when he was governor, the way he addresses the traditional rulers will even really ask you if this man is actually talking with sense.
But isn't it weird that a man who is this disrespectful seems to command so much loyalty? Is it about money now?
It's about money, rewards, and other things. Remember, during his own time as a governor, if you disagree with him, he will go and pull down your property. If you have a hotel, he pull one down. If you have a filling station, he'll pull one down. Whatever property you have, he'll pull it down to send a warning to you that he has the power. Now, he's no more the governor. And we've since stopped hearing about filling station going down and some other properties going down. But we knew very well he did so much good for the traditional rulers by giving them money. He was paying them salary. Fat one, for that matter, fat salary, was paying them something bogus. So he massaged them financially, but addressed them in a way and manner that a governor should not address the traditional rulers the way he did. So in all of this, he has something going for him. And if you look at the man he was actually talking to, maybe he could be the one that gave him certificate of recognition. I don't know if he cited something like that there. Possibly when he was governor, he gave him money, he built something for him. He may remember some of the things he did for him. So if you turn yourself as a beggar, people who give you those things, some of them who have no conscience will look down on you. They will show that haughtiness. They will be condescending. In fact, I don't know, but we've seen that going for a week. But let's see how this will play out. Just like I said, the River State Assembly members, they are hungry legislators. You see that on their faces, and possibly they are acting the script given to them by Nyesom Wike to do. And they are not doing this for themselves, they are doing it for Nyesom Wike. They have turned themselves to become the foot soldiers of Nyesom Wike. But where this will leave them is another thing we'll have to all watch out.
All right, then. We'll keep our fingers crossed. And, of course, whatever happens, we definitely let you know right here on the Polity. We take a break now, attend to some commercials. I believe we've exhaustively dealt with Rivers State politics. We open up the phone lines. But after this, keep it locked.
You're listening to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, I'll package and they do yellow. Wendy's bread, mama, papa, they like Wendy's bread, kitchen and do. Wendy's bread, even children, they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, and in town. Wendy's bread, you get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's
Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, 2nd Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all three combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806-416-2374 or 0706-059-6203. With Best Aluminium, you're investing in peace of mind, in beauty, and in the future of your home. Because when it comes to roofing, the best choice is always Best Aluminium MFG Limited. Tomorrow's technology today. Public notice. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, has set up an ESCO committee for the recovery of all government land at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, in Onitsha South local government area of Anambra State. All persons purportedly laying claim to all those parcels or plots of land located at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, are by this notice requested to submit the following documents to the Office of the Commissioner for Lands. 1. Allocation letter. 2. Certificate of occupancy. 3. building plan approval, and 4. Any other relevant documents conferring ownership of such plots of land to the individual. All documents are to be submitted in 2 sets within 14 working days from the date this notice was first published. No submission will be received or attended to after the expiration of the said 14 working days. Signed, Mrs. Nkiru Mokwe, Esquire, Permanent Secretary for Commissioner for Lands.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
While you go ahead and get involved by putting a call across to 0803-877-6694, 0803-221-697. Tony, I saw a report of Mo Ali saying that any governor who cross carpets should lose his seat. Do you agree with him?
I should have agreed with him in principle. Ideally, that's what it should be. But if you look at our laws, governors can move from one party to the other. But in the Second Republic, it was the case. If you defect, you should actually lose your seats. But ideally, it should be so. But legally, it is not.
Okay, let's hear you. Hello there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My chief speaker, Tony Olisa.
You're welcome.
Yes. Good morning, all the crew in the house. My name is Honorable Denzel Mayor Okuchukume, JP Okulon Ochendo, Umwezeneken. Let me say that this weekend, I have said it before, I don't know what is wrong with Wike. I don't know. So you people have said it is because of the agreement. I don't know why he should not face Abuja, administration in Abuja, and do nice work there. Let him leave Udala alone. Although all these things is happening because of the way Udala backed down within that war. Although I know, like Tony Olisambeki said, the hand of President is involved, and that is why it was so. But now he's in APC. I think they said that anybody that is in APC, the things has been forgiven. I want to ask, has Fubara Sim not been forgiven? Let them leave him alone. In fact, let them leave him alone. Let him do the nice work. I see him as a person that will do good work in River State. For all this war here and there, do not allow him to do anything. Then, I want to also talk about the issue of our president. I don't know, Tono Sambeki. I have not, our president is so silent this time around. Where is our president? Is he in the country or is he outside the country right now? Thank you and God bless you all.
All right then, he's asking where Mr. President is. Last time I checked, he's not yet in the country. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sister. My brother, I love you. Good morning, my sister.
You're welcome.
I need the voice of honor to go from honor to singer. My speaker, he said well, when he said that who decide who is the war is the president, and that's true. But if I am the president, I choose Mara. Because we still have offended many rivers. I'm sure 70% of rivers don't like this there. A lot of the money is going up and down. So the people, those voters themselves, they who vote in River State would love to align themselves with Obada than Wike. So if we are the president, I will choose Obada and compensate Wike. And as far as the other governors of the state want Obada, you cannot take it. It will bring more problems. Whatever we can do, that is where you put problems there. That's what I see. Thank you, my president, my speaker. Thank you, my speaker, and
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Udala Radio.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
We can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, God bless you. This is Chief calling from Onitsha.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, what is happening in River State? It's baffling me because I don't know who Wike is working for or who they are doing all these things for. All these crises since Fubara has been office, these problems here and there. Is it for the interest of River State or is it for the interest of Wike and Fubara? What are they fighting for? Is that how they will move River State forward? That is what we are talking in this country. Nobody is ready to put the people first. They are fighting for superiority. Is there enough school? Is there enough drinking water? Is there good road? Is there good healthcare? This is what we should be expecting from the governor. Not and week every day. They are the people causing this problem. Politicians of this, they are the problem we have in this country. They don't want people to move forward. People are suffering. Instead of them know how to find the sense of this. They are this fight themselves. It's quite unfortunate in this 21st century. What is this problem?
Are you there? Hello? Hello? You should try to reconnect 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. Just also let you know, we're live on Facebook, Udala Radio, 104.7 FM. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is Monday Johnson. Mr. Speaker, good morning. I'm Franklin.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Speaker, I actually listen to you closely. In River State, the problem we have that makes some people to actually come up and begin to condemn the activities of the State Assembly is because they are not tactical in what they are doing. It's very clear that they are working under influence and they are not pretending about that. And you can agree with me, Mr. Speaker, that the State Assembly has that constitutional powers to call anything gross misconduct, and you cannot challenge that in any court of law. What happened in Enugu State some time ago, where the deputy governor was impeached, because he opened a poultry in his house. The State Assembly called that gross misconduct, and the man was impeached. I don't know whether that matter was challenged in any court. So they have the power, even though they can see Mr. Governor wearing a particular shoe, they will say, even though it was appropriated that you have to buy this shoe, but the way this shoe looks like, we don't like it, and they can call that gross misconduct. And on that, they can impeach the governor. But the problem is the River State Assembly make it clearly obvious that they are working under influence. And I think Bubarata actually lately played his game very well, calculatively, by detecting APC. As we can see, the battle now is no longer between Bubara and these assembly members. People now in APC are speaking on his behalf, defending him, calling for the sack of Wike. And let's put our finger across and see where the matter will end. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please be a little louder, please?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Mr. Doctor, good morning.
You're welcome.
I want to give my submission. You know what baffles me? My annoyance is all this noise that people are making. Does it mean that it's weaker or even the president can elect a governor for us? I am blaming this thing entirely on the populace, the electorate. What is all this noise about? We kept boasting up and down that he's going to make him go. He has when the electorate now came out and said, give overwhelming votes to Fubara voting. What will happen? I think this will happen in Anambra State. This past election that Udo won. People can see it. Where the magic will come from sometimes Mr. President or even the show power to be in Abuja. I am blaming the electorate in River State. They should advance and send these people away. I don't think you understand this type of nonsense. We can everywhere. We can not the governor now, but he's going around making noise, threatening people. If it's in Anambra State, we cannot allow that type of president to happen. He's no longer a governor, and he's making noise. Barajia is just sitting down there as a governor. Is he a governor? That one, is he a governor or not? I don't really understand my plan. I don't understand him. If he acts as a governor of a state. Thank you.
All right. Tony, you wanted to react to that?
Yes, you know, my friend Monday Johnson was actually talking about the impeachment of the former deputy governor of Enugu State, and then I thought he actually followed the very development. I remember how Sunday Onyebuchi was removed sometime around 2014, and he was accused of gross misconduct for running a poultry at his official quarters and other purported infractions. But then, just like he said, they called that a gross misconduct under section 188, subsection that says anything the assembly deemed to be a gross misconduct becomes a gross misconduct. But the court also interpreted that to mean that it cannot be anything. That the framers of the constitution did not say if somebody coughs, if the governor coughs, and then it becomes a gross misconduct. So on December 18, 2015, Enugu State High Court, presided over by Justice Aro Odugu, declared that impeachment illegal, unconstitutional, null and void. In fact, he set aside the election and swearing in of his replacement because they brought another replacement. So, and then according to the court, the allegations did not amount to gross misconduct under section 188 of the 1999 Constitution. So I want to clear that before I will forget. So not everything, according to our courts, become gross misconduct. The court has interpreted that, and that was not even challenged. So the deputy governor who was impeached for running the poultry farm, the court upturned it. So let's watch and see.
All right then. Good morning. You should try to reconnect then. 0803-221-697-3, 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Uche from Ella.
Go ahead, Uche.
Please, for Tony, what he said, there's no governor in Nigeria that was not being sponsored by anybody. I would say my governor, unless Chomowiki, was not sponsored. He came alone. He dismantled the plan of the incumbent, and he was able to succeed. Remember, the Okasibaso selected one man called Uche, one professor. The man died, and he brought up another man. IU of PDP. And I thought he was able to dismantle that plan. And since 2016, he has been there. The appeal court even affirmed him as the real governor of the state. Because in the Supreme Court, that Okasibaso won the election totally. Well, let me not go there again. So, I also think my governor was not installed by any person. So, I will say this. I want to ask a question. If the assembly succeeded in impeaching Fubara and the deputy, who will then succeed them? Who will then be the governor of the state? And see, these people, if you see what they are acting, so they are acting childishly. It was on viral, it was on the video. An elected official was being seen serving somebody, an individual, outside the country and in a foreign land. It is not laughable. It is not appalling. It's very shameful. I want to ask again. Wike warning the king. Stay away from our politics. What is Wike doing in River State? He is the former governor. He says stay away. Which is there something is playing in the River State. You see, I don't know the kind of institution we have in Nigeria. If it's in a real country, we should have been formed by now. Arrested by now. Still from politics. You know what? Oh God, I'm laughing. I'm laughing.
All right then. And we head over to Facebook now. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Let's see your comments there.
Okay, so we are on our Facebook page now, and going through the comments, Dr. Mrs. Molebra from Oweremo State says, why can't Rivers lawmakers allow us some peace in this country? Is Rivers the only state in this country? Why is Wike always playing God? Wike, Heather, Wike, Thither, Haba. Why can't we allow Governor to concentrate and deliver dividends of democracy to Rivers people? Is Wike the only ex-governor of Rivers? It is becoming too much for Wike and very embarrassing. Those the gods want to destroy, they first make mad. And he says, Wike, know thyself. There is Ijimbwe from, I think he posted from, Ibadan Fan Settlement. He says, I know that the problem of Governor Fubara is not yet over. At the moment, Amewule led State Assembly rejected the 100,000 Christmas gift given to them. Fubara had entered the PC and all his sins have been forgiven. Wike is fighting the fight of a drowning man. Many APC governors will pull their weight behind Fubara. And Ugochukwu Frank says impeachment is not governance, it's desperation. When elected lawmakers choose power games over the will of the people, democracy is the real target. Rivers people are watching closely. History will remember who defended the mandate and who tried to hijack it. This isn't just about Fubara, it's about the future of Rivers State. Master Bay says Rivers State political crisis is not strange in Nigeria. In 2004, during the former governor of Rivers State, Peter Odili tenure, similar crisis happened and many people died. Nigeria should pray for Rivers State political crisis. FCT minister should be held responsible for whatever that happens in Dabere State. He posted from Onitsha. Also, Francis Namani, watching from Amagunzi in Enugu State, he says former Vice President Atiku Abubakar should back Fitobi for presidency come 2027 to complete the tenure of the South. So many Nigerians have confidence in Mr. B. John Ekum says the legislature of Rivers State does not know their left from right. Many of them will not come back for second tenure. Okay, he posted from Asaba. Then okay, I think for now, these are the comments that we have here. We have acknowledged them.
All right, then we are rounding off the conversation today. I'm sorry we can't take any more calls. Tony, what are your final words?
I think my friend that said that nobody sponsored Show My Legs OT. I think you are making a mistake. Do you think to run for the office of governor is just something you will do with a small change? It's not something we do with a small change. It requires billions.
Or maybe it's not the kind of crazy godfathers that we have in some parts.
No, what he meant was no single individual bankrolled him. Yes, I agreed. I can give you the list of those who gave him money. For you to run for office of governor, it requires money. So you wouldn't come and say nobody. I said every governor in Nigeria. Let me repeat the quote that I did during the analysis. Every governor is either sponsored by his predecessor or backed by stakeholders. That's what I said. Backed by stakeholders. And then I said close to all the 36 state governors. Close, not all of them. We are produced by their predecessor, but there we are few, maybe likes of Oti, backed by some strong stakeholders. So that very statement is still valid. You can't controvert it. So governor, office of governor is not something you run with a chicken change. It's a capital intensive. So you should understand that.
Okay, Tony. Franklin, your final words?
If we had time, I'd love to run the video of Wike some years ago when he was talking about Obaseki. In the one, Obaseki was the governor of Edo State. There was a point in time that Adam Soshomole was trying to play the godfather in that very state, and then Obaseki was in good terms with Wike. I can recall what Wike said. In fact, the video is here, how he was in support of Obaseki, saying that anybody who is a sitting governor should do everything possible to fight godfatherism. And today, what is playing out?
Are you calling Wiki a hypocrite?
No, tomorrow he's going to mount TV and tell that he's a man that has integrity. I rest my case here.
All right, then. Thank you for your contribution, Dr. Tony Lusambiki. Thank you, Franklin. Of course, the Polity is shutting down for the week. It's a Friday, and we're going to make a return on Monday. Of course, 9:15 down to 11 a.m. right here on your seriously authentic dial, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Just to let you know that as a Nigerian, the change that you and I desire would definitely start with you and I. So do your bit.